Thanks for stopping by the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the real of reality TV.
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it. See how rewind, when we rewind, feels so nice.
What's up, guys? So listen, this Kenya Moore Bravo Real Housewives of Atlanta thing, this may not be the popular opinion, but listen, I like Kenya. I'm not a whatever they call it, what, twirl squad or twirl team, team twirl, whatever. I ain't on nobody's team. I like who I like and I don't like who I don't like. That as simple as that. But I like Kenya. I have always been, I will say, over the years, one of the people that I felt like I gave her grace, and a lot of times when people did not, during the times of Phaedra and Apollo and all of that stuff. And then I was so glad when it came out later when Apollo apologized to her and said that he was not being honest, and because I didn't feel that he was either. But anyway, and I mention that because, yeah, Kenya will do some things that will cause her to be judged really harshly. And she's done some things over the years that has caused her to be judged really harshly. So I'm one of those people that actually gave her grace and a lot of times when she did not get it from a lot of people. Because, yeah, it was inappropriate for how she was, I will say flirting with Apollo, but I don't think she was ever trying to get with that man when he was with Phaedra. So, that's why I bring that up, because I may not have the popular opinion right now, but when it comes to Kenya, I'm not saying that everything that Bravo did was right, because I do believe that they could have paused this from happening, because I don't think that they didn't know that this was going to happen. And so, with that being said, I'm not here championing Bravo TV or Andy Cohen. I'm not. But she's responding to Andy Cohen, so I'm going to share my screen and share this post. This is from the Bravo Shade Room. So let's go here.
Is that Britt made a comment at the end of last week's episode, like, I have a gun and a whip or something like that.
I saw that.
And on this week's episode, they all said to Britt that you can't say that shit. And she was like, yeah, you're right. Whatever. She shows up to Kenya's opening of her gorgeous salon, which is beautiful, that Kenya has worked so hard on, that she dedicated to her daughter. And it's this big event, opening it with all these people there. And Britt comes in and brings her flowers and says, I want to apologize to you, and a note. And Kenya totally ignores her, like totally. And Britt's like, okay, I'm just going to leave these here. And Britt leaves. And then Kenya gets up and makes her whole opening about, someone came after me and they shouldn't have. And I started looking into who this woman is, and this is who she is. And she starts showing pictures of her.
Like poster board that she printed out.
And this is like
one of the pictures is
revenge
her.
Porn type.
Yes.
Okay.
One of the pictures is her.
Like, oral sexing.
Yeah. And the Atlanta Housewives are like, we're out. We don't want any, the place like clears out.
Yeah.
And then there's and Cynthia said, in all my time at the show, this is the lowest I've ever seen anything get. And, so that's what, and then there's a slide at the end of the show that says, Bravo, stop filming with Kenya after this.
Well, they say, like, there's all this talk of, after the Me Too movement, it's like, if you show someone a dick pic or a nude pic without them saying, yes, I would like to see that right now, that's like sexual assault.
Yes, Jordan?
Well, I was going to say, the bad part of it and the sad part of it was that, like you said, it was Kenya's opening of her store that she's worked so hard for, and that it's been Kenya Moore hair care for years.
Yes.
And it was like a big moment for her.
Why
and
did she do that?
She should have been celebrating herself, but instead she used the time to do revenge porn and bring somebody else down. And at the end of the day, it was such a bad look for Kenya.
Yeah, why would
and
she
she
do that?
sabotaged herself and her business.
Yeah. What was she thinking?
Jody
wasn't.
from Minneapolis, what did you think?
Yay, hi. Also, yeah, I'm just so proud of Bravo and how they handled it and all the housewives that left after Kenya showed it. It was so trashy and it was so negative and ugly. And I don't know, I think a few years ago, not all the wives would have left after that, but I'm really proud that they all left. And, you know, Britt making that comment about the guns and whips, I don't know, I didn't feel like it was totally like, I'm going to go kill you, Kenya. I think it was just her talking smack, and oh my gosh, Kenya just took it way too far, way too far.
Yes. What happened is that Britt made a comment.
All right. So Kenya responded to that and she did a post on Instagram. You can see it right here. She says, the two, quote, co-hosts, and that was her being, sorry guys, it's early in the morning as I'm recording this. That was her using sarcasm and, in a low way, are extremely ignorant. Quote, sexual assault is, and then they cross it out, RAPE. Remember, that's what Phaedra accused Candy of attempting to do to Portia. So now she wants to bring that up. And then she writes, revenge, PORN, question mark. If someone showed Kim K sex tape to you, is that revenge porn? I found that plus tons others online. She signed a release for it, so it's a fair receipt in all caps. Warning, if you are not an attorney and familiar with Georgia law, then STFU. Sick of the bias and selective outrage. These comments should not have aired. It's a podcast. Where is legal? You don't want activated Kenya. I shouldn't have shown at my event, but for the love of God, why would they ignore a clear GUN threat? Here's the thing, guys, and I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Like I said, this may not be the popular opinion, but I actually do agree with Andy and the co-hosts. I said that before that, like she said in this post, she shouldn't have done it at the event. I feel like she ruined her business by doing that because last I heard, there's not really much hair care going on at the Kenya Moore Hair Spa. And to put that amount of money into it to do something like that, I feel was stupid. But also, if it was a clear GUN threat, why would she handle it by exposing her? Like, seriously, why would she handle it by exposing who she, quote, really is? Because that's what Kenya said. If you thought that this chick was capable of using her GUN and her whips, like she said, that she had in the car, then you felt safe enough to expose her even more and think that she wouldn't retaliate in a physical manner with those GUNs and the whips. So I don't believe that it was a clear GUN threat like she's trying to say now, because if it was that much of a threat, she should have went to production to present it in that way versus making a production of this situation and at her business location. By all means, it's just I don't agree with Kenya. And now, we're learning that she hasn't spoken to Cynthia let it out on Watch What Happens Live that she hasn't actually spoken to Kenya since that happened, but she's reached out to her. So it's like this blame game. I'm just not here for it. I'm team twirl, twirl team, twirl squad, whatever, they call themselves. You can be on her team all you want. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but right is right is wrong and wrong is wrong. And if it was a clear GUN threat, then she should have taken it to production for them to have her removed, not her exposing this chick in this way and saying, if you're not an attorney or familiar with Georgia law, then STFU. No, we don't have to shut the F up. We can talk about it as much as we want to. So, girl, bye with that. I'm not here for it. That doesn't mean I'm Team Brit. That doesn't mean I don't know any of these people, obviously, but I'm just saying it was wrong and she shouldn't have done it. So I'm not here for the blame game. And Cynthia, people can say, oh, Cynthia's fake and Nene exposed that about her a long time ago or whatever. I don't feel that way, and unfortunately, we live in a space and time now where people like Cynthia, they're seen as a flip flopper versus just seeing her as someone that has rationale and seeing her as someone that genuinely, truly cares deeply for people and tries to see the good in people. And I do believe that she has been a friend to Nene. Now, her saying she wants to see Nene back on the show right now, I don't know about all that, but hey, if that's her opinion, how she feels right now, okay, fine. But yeah, we just I feel that a lot of people don't give Cynthia grace. And I do believe that Cynthia, if I would say if there's anybody out of Cynthia, Kenya, or Nene that I would want to have as a friend, I would say I would prefer to have Cynthia as a friend. And I actually would see Cynthia as someone that would be really a friend versus someone like Kenya or Nene. And that's not saying I hate Kenya and Nene, but I feel like Kenya and Nene they have those types of personalities where they may you may see them as likable people because of the character that they present on these television shows, but if you met them in person, like really met them in person, I feel like they would be the ones that would disappoint you more in person than Cynthia would be. That's my personal opinion. You all are free to disagree as much as you want, but like I said, this may be unpopular opinion, but I agree with Andy and his co-host, like Kenya said, when she said the two co-hosts. Girl, you're trying to be shady because you know that that's Andy's podcast and his co-host is the co-host. But with all of that being said, you guys are free to let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like someone said in this post right here, Kenya crashing out like she a victim, and I agree with that. So guys, I'm just not I'm not agreeing with Kenya in this space with how she's trying to make it seem like they are siding with Brit. This was a clear threat. If it was a clear threat, I don't think, my personal opinion, she would feel that safe to dig up all of this stuff that she says she found online to expose about this young lady and not get a physical retaliation on her ass if she felt that it was that much of a threat. So those are my thoughts. Feel free to let me know yours in the comment section respectfully. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.